What's going on, guys? It is Tom of Top 10 Wrestling and welcome back to another video on the channel today. I've got two topics to discuss with you today, and as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about Seth Rollins and why the WWE fans are starting to turn on Seth Rollins. Let's get right into this video. When Seth Rollins won the Royal Rumble this year, everyone was really excited about the prospect of him beating Brock Lesnar and us getting finally a good Universal Champion, a good fighting champion who appears at every pay-per-view and puts on good matches, because with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, who had to vacate it after a month due to his leukemia, we weren't able to get that for a very long time. And Seth Rollins went on to destroy Brock Lesnar in just a 2-minute match at WrestleMania to win the Universal Championship, and it was a really cool moment, and we thought it was the beginning of something new for Seth Rollins. Then came his match with AJ Styles, which was fantastic, and again, everyone was so excited about his Universal title reign. But then it all started to go downhill from there, not just for his character, but also for him as a person, because not only are fans starting to hate his character, they're also starting to hate Seth Rollins, the person. Part 1 was his match with Baron Corbin at Crown Jewel. I mean, no, not Crown Jewel, Super Showdown, but both were basically the same in terms of show quality. They had a match at Super Showdown, and it was pretty bad, and everyone wanted the feud to end after that, but it didn't, sadly. And then came his comments towards Will Ospreay on Twitter, where Seth Rollins was going on about how WWE is the best, and when Will Ospreay jokingly quote tweeted him, Seth Rollins bought up bank accounts and created a whole new argument, which was completely separate from his argument for WWE. It was stupid, but he did since apologize, but many fans do hold a grudge against that, which I'll be honest, I don't really understand. He apologized and Ospreay accepted it, but don't worry, there's more. And then after that, he had a pretty awful interview, which got him quite a lot of stick. I'm talking about the interview where he discussed Jon Moxley leaving WWE to join AEW. He said about, keep in mind, his real life friend Jon Moxley, he said about how Ambrose did give everything for the company the entire time he was here, put his heart and soul into the travel, into the schedule, into the injuries, into the work, and all the stuff. But at the end of the day, he took his ball and went home, and it was a little presumptuous of him to talk down to the company that made him and gave him such an opportunity on Chris Jericho's podcast. Now, that's not an exact quote, I'm reading that online, but that's basically the gist of what he said, and him saying he took his ball and went home was an exact quote. And obviously, if you have listened to Ambrose on Talk is Jericho, on Jericho's podcast, you'll know how badly WWE treated him. So for Seth Rollins to go on this podcast and do this interview and say the things he said about Jon Moxley, many fans saw it as very unjustified and very just yes man to WWE, and this got even more hate on him. And then his character was further damaged when he would go on to face Baron Corbin again at Stomping Grounds, featuring Lacey Evans as a special guest referee. Rollins would go on to win this match, but it was an awful match that main evented the show and shouldn't have. And this was the beginning of when Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins' relationship would become a prominent part of TV, which many people didn't want to see. Because in case you aren't aware, since they never mention it on commentary or never mention it on TV, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are dating. That was sarcasm, by the way. Because of their relationship being mentioned on screen, becoming a real life part of WWE, it meant that Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch's characters really got damaged from it. Everything that made them cool was removed from them, and they started cutting these cringy couple promos, and it was just awful stuff. I will definitely give credit where it's due though, because the mixed tag team match they had at Extreme Rules, the winner takes all match with Seth and Becky defending against Baron and Lacey, was actually a really awesome match that I really enjoyed. But during the course of the match, fans were actually chanting "We want Lesnar," some were chanting right after "No we don't," but the fact that some fans were chanting "We want Lesnar" just goes to show the damage that had been done to Seth Rollins' character. And when Brock Lesnar came out after the match to cash in and win, he got a good reaction, which is mental to think, because everyone resented Lesnar while he was champion, but it seems as though while Rollins was champion, everyone just started to resent him too. Rollins' championship reign lasted for only 98 days, and it was a pretty underwhelming reign to say the least. Obviously, this is through mostly no fault of his own. This is through mainly the booking of WWE and the damage that has been done to his character. But again, this is what I'm talking about. People are starting to hate Seth Rollins' TV character now. And the moment that happened on last night's Raw reunion might have been a moment that would properly seal the deal and damage his character for a very long time, like what happened to Roman Reigns with the Suffering Succotash promo. Seth Rollins cut a promo where he did an impression of Paul Heyman, and I don't even want to talk about it because it was so childish and so cringy. And again, Rollins has just been stripped of everything that made his character cool and badass. He should be completely furious that Lesnar has the Universal Championship from him. He should be furious that his title reign ended prematurely, but instead he's sitting there joking around about Paul Heyman and making a Paul Heyman impression. And then that awful segment with DX that I don't even want to talk about, where many memes have come out from it, which is the only good thing to come out from Seth Rollins' character in the past few months. And then finally, a couple of days ago, he did yet another interview talking about AEW and Jon Moxley, where he just said the wrong words yet again. He made a very weird comment about Jon Moxley joining AEW. He's saying that he's inserting himself into WWE's competition, and now he's the one trying to take dinner off of my table, which makes no sense because competition is only a good thing. I mean, because of this competition, in fact, more people are getting food on the table. Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis have $1 million deals because WWE didn't want to release them because of AEW. People are getting signed. WWE are not releasing anyone. They're offering new contracts with very high numbers to talent that want to leave. So I don't know where Seth is coming from in this point, but it is what it is, I guess. And then Seth Rollins would go on to speak about AEW being competition for WWE, saying that they're going to knock them dead just like they do to everybody else. To my knowledge, WCW and the territories is the last time that actually happened, aka in the 90s and before that. So yeah. Now, what's my opinion on this? I have to give Seth Rollins the benefit of a doubt just a bit when it comes to the interviews, because he is currently one of WWE's top guys, and you can tell by the way that WWE are changing his character, they're trying to make him like a Roman Reigns ambassador almost for the company. So you have to think that there are times where he has been told what to say in interviews. And as well as that, what sites are reporting on Seth Rollins are cutting out certain parts that he was saying in the interviews. For example, in one of them, he said about Evolution and how he thinks there should be an Evolution 2 and how the women deserve more opportunities, but many people aren't mentioning that point. To me, the main gripe I have with Rollins is his character, and again, that's through no fault of his own. I think what he said in the interviews was stupid, but I definitely think there is a chance that WWE told him what to do, so I will give him at least a small bit of the benefit of the doubt for that. But in terms of his character is just dying. It's getting stale. Fans are getting bored of it. It's not good. It's really not good. He was one of the hottest acts at the start of this year. I mean, he's been one of the hottest acts since The Shield. I mean, since he debuted in WWE general. Like, he's been so hot, and this is just not a good phase for him right now, and I hope everything gets better. And I just hope his character can be revived, because it's going nowhere right now. But anyway, on to the next topic. We're going to be talking about how a WWE female wrestler might have retired and it had just been swept under the rug. I'm talking about Alicia Fox, because if you were watching Raw Reunion last night, you might have noticed that she was featured on the graphic, she was featured in all the segments, where she was basically a legend, which is many were confused by this, because we all thought she was an active wrestler. But Dave Meltzer, of course, has came out, Big Boy Dave. He said, evidently, Alicia Fox is no longer an active wrestler. She was in every segment. I mean, she hasn't wrestled in months, but they never formally released her. So maybe the idea is like, because they never released anyone, so I guess the idea maybe is that she's not going to wrestle anymore, but she's still under contract. She was very clearly not a member of the active roster. She was out there at the end of the show on the ramp with only the legends. She was a legend here on this show. Basically, what Dave is saying is that it's very likely that Alicia Fox just isn't an active competitor anymore. But because of the fact that WWE aren't releasing any superstars or trying to re-sign every superstar to avoid competition, they're just keeping Alicia Fox under contract for the sake of it, pretty much. So that does make quite a bit of sense there. And if you're wondering why Alicia Fox was a legend on the show, then that right there was why. But yeah guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy, then be sure to smack that like button. Let me know what you think of Alicia Fox being a legend, and let me know what you think of Seth Rollins' character and what he's been saying in interviews. Are you a fan of him still? Are you starting to get bored of him? Do you straight up hate him? I wouldn't go that far to say I hate him. I would say he's getting stale though. But again, don't think it's really through any fault of his own. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, goodbye and keep on rolling.